Now that didn't just sound good because I'm a good trumpet player. It sounded pretty good because I take good care of my instrument. There are really 4 steps when you have to take care of your trumpet, and when you take good care of your trumpet, you show that you're a good player who's dedicated to their instrument, and you can also save money by not having to have repairs. So the first part is you want to get all your brushes and equipment together. There's 3 brushes you will use when cleaning your trumpet: mouthpiece brush, a snake brush, and a valve brush. These each will help you get all the gunk and germs that are in there from playing. You will then use 2 sets of oils, valve oil and slide grease to make sure your trumpet can be played properly, and a polishing rag just to make your trumpet look extra nice and shiny on the outside. So since I don't have the complete time to clean everything, I'm just going to show you how to clean one valve because you clean them all the same, and one slide because you clean them all the same. What you want to do is get a nice big bucket of soapy water, put your slide in, kind of let some of the water run through it, make sure that you get it nice and wet, and then you take your snake brush, and it's bendy, which will allow it to go through these curves, and you try to get it in there. Sometimes they get stuck, so you have to be a little forceful with it, but you also want to make sure you're careful so you don't damage anything. It'll run through, pop out the other end, and then you pull it through. And that's all clean. You'll then run it through the water again to try to make sure all the gunk that was in the slide comes out of the slide. And then you set it aside to dry it off. Now with your valve. Valves are a little different to clean than slides because they have one important part. They have a cotton pad up here, which if it gets moldy because it gets wet, it can cause damage, and you'll have to pay to get that replaced. And the whole point of cleaning your instrument is that you don't have to pay for unneeded repairs. So again, you submerge it in the water, but I like to kind of hold up the cotton pad to keep it away from the water. Submerge that in, switch it around, and then you use the valve brush. You kind of poke it through, I want to make sure you get each hole because they're all dirty. And I like to kind of rub it, try to get all of the outside stuff off. And then once again, you rinse it. So you also lay that out to dry. Then you take your mouthpiece. And the mouthpiece can be the dirtiest part because, you know, that's where your mouth is. And since I'm a girl, sometimes I play my trumpet with like lipstick or chapstick on. So that can get icky and discolored. So again, you rinse it through. And then you take your mouthpiece brush, which is a little more narrow and pointed so you can get further down into the mouthpiece. But you are not supposed to get all the way through the mouthpiece. You're supposed to get as far down as you can. You swirl that around a couple times and pull out. Run it through again and start to dry it off. Now, sometimes it takes a little while longer for things to dry, but if you actually use a rag, it can work quite easily. So once you're done cleaning everything, you want to make sure that you oil everything so it goes back inside your trumpet properly and doesn't damage it when you're trying to force it in. So with the valves, you use a little bit of valve oil. You don't want to use too much because it just kind of runs off of it and it's then wasted, and valve oil can be expensive. Just take a couple, and you want to make sure you put it in the right place because if you put the valves in the wrong place, the wind will go through your trumpet and you can't play. So you want to make sure the number that's inscribed on the front is facing forward and it's going in the right spots. This is the first valve, so it goes in this one. You twist it on. Then you take your valve grease, your slide grease, and put this away. I use this one because it's kind of like chapstick. And so that way I don't have to put my finger on it and get my fingers greasy. And you just get that a little drier. Just put enough that it will let it slide in, but you don't want to get too much because it'll just rub off and be wasted. Make sure you put it in properly. This one is a little harder to get in, but you don't want to try to jam it in because that can cause damages to your trumpet. Just slide it nice and neat. Now our trumpet is all clean and where'd my mouthpiece go? Here it is. And you don't want to lose your mouthpiece because that is the whole part of playing it. Now, you can't use polish on a lacquer instrument like this because it will damage the coat, but you can use a polishing rag to make it look just as nice and clean as it is on the inside. So give it a good little polish, get the bell, get some of the valves, and your trumpet should be good to go. And that is how you properly clean and take care of your trumpet. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Does the snake brush always have to go through the same direction through the valves, or can it go through
It can go through in either direction. It doesn't really matter as long as you run it through carefully and you don't try to force it in. All right. Thank you for giving me your time tonight. Have a great evening. Stop it.